we welcome to Impact Talks Miss Keyvan Geula. She is a licensed marriage, family, and child counselor specializing in the integration of psychotherapy and spirituality from a Bahá'í perspective. She designs and teaches curriculums centered on the empowering principle of unity in diversity. Keyvan Geula is an international consultant, trainer, educator, and lecturer. Mrs. Geula is a producer and host of radio and TV shows. Her well-received TV series was called Transforming Human Consciousness, which aired for over 8 years. She is the founder and president of a non-profit educational organization called Center for Global Integrated Education. She also hosts www.kidssidebyside.org in response to the human rights violation of the Bahá'í students in Iran. She's quite an inspiration, and we're honored to have Ms. Keyvan Geula to the show. Welcome to Impact Talks, Keyvan.
Thank you, Pamela. You are a very, very vibrant, luminous character. I really appreciate the invitation. And this is the first time I had a chance to see one of my favorite radio station, KPFK.
Yes.
And then the Impact, who's making such an impact.
Awesome. Well, with all of that, how could we not just plug this in?
It is a pleasure.
It's awesome. But let's start from the beginning. I know you've been here a long time, and that's why we have you on the show, because you're going to give us a more seasoned opinion. So tell me first, how did you come to the United States and how long ago? Briefly.
You know, that's a good question. I was reflecting, and I was hearing all these wonderful women here talking about their experience. I was reflecting. I thought, oh my goodness, I just realized that I have been always an immigrant. Even in my own country, I was like an immigrant. Being a Baha'i is a minority in Iran.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
And so my way of thinking, my way of believing, the values that I had was very, very foreign. And at times, actually, it was subject to persecution. So I just remember that my grandfather was Jewish background. And at that time, the central figures of the Baha'i faith were imprisoned in Palestine. So my grandfather was in his early 20s. So he becomes a Baha'i, and then he walks for 6 months on foot to go to Holy Land. At that time, it was Palestine. Anyway, when he comes back, he got killed. Shot. So my grandmother was in her early 20s, 5 children. The little one was just newborn, and she had to raise them by herself. So she should have been a very strong woman to be able to, and she was a Baha'i herself. So when I was a child and I was talking to her, I was just amazed how this woman, and she would say, "Oh, I was so beautiful," and she would talk about herself, and then she managed the wealth of my grandfather, but I also saw the damage that was done to my uncles and my aunts, being, having their father killed at that early age, and then each one of them suffered consequences of that.
So did that lead to father. The journey? Is that why the journey to coming here started?
Well, actually, in many different directions. It puts you in a difficult situation where you have to swim or drown.
Yes, absolutely.
One or the other. And then you discover that how much support means a big deal in your ability to be manifested and realized. And so the whole notion of support became much more important to me than thinking, oh, I can do it by myself. There was really nothing you could do sometimes with yourself.
So at what age did you decide then to come to the United States?
As a result of that, I was raised in a community that the Baha'i community of Iran that wasn't internationally minded already, had a global mindset. Oneness of humanity is the umbrella that the Baha'is believe, and equality of men and women, independent investigation of truth, elimination of prejudice. So all of these teachings were interesting there, but I wanted to experience them other places.
Oh, I see.
So first time I came to my father, I wasn't married, and I said to my father, I want to go to Cambodia. And he said, over my dead body. I thought, why does my father say that? Because he's a Baha'i, he should be happy. And he said, that's a country in war.
Yeah.
You're a young girl. You're not going to go over there without, by yourself. No way, Jose. I thought I was really offended. So my father, who is supposed to be very forward-thinking Baha'i, so why is he not letting
Even he
me
was
to go?
scared.
Exactly.
Hey, if this is your first time visiting TIMTV channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button here below and ring the notification bell so you will be notified when we post new content.
So anyway, but I went to the local governing council of the Baha'i, so we don't have it. Baha'is don't have priests. I went to this governing council and I told her in my innocent, maybe not very brightness, I said, I want to go to Cambodia. And my father says, no, what can you guys do? And they said, well,
what can we do?
They said, well, you need to convince your father if you want to do something like that. And so you can't really be not able to come into consensus. So if your job is to convince him. So I thought to myself, that's very difficult. So some time passed, and then I got a scholarship to come to United States. And then I thought, my father, he's not going to let me go. So I went to him and I said, Father, I got a scholarship to go as an economic consultant to study in the U.S. And he said, by all means, I'm delighted to go. And I thought, wow. I said, how come you're agreeing with that? He said, because this is a forward-thinking, civilized place in the world. Yes. And you will be growing, you'll be learning, and I'm not worried, but you're not going to a war zone. That's different.
Regardless of the Baha'i faith, you are going to the United States.
So he said, he was very for it. That's amazing. I learned that my father, and the way we were raised, is open to the universality of human spirit and oneness of humanity. And my father has a reason. And so therefore I came here. And I have ever since then, that was 1966. Oh, wow. So you can see how old I am. Yes. So ever since then, I have been learning. So I decided that because I was the beneficiary of a universal global learning, both from in Iran when I was around, Baha'is who came from all over the world there to educate women. Yes. The first schools in Iran were initiated by Baha'is for everybody. Yes. So I thought to myself, I need to give back to the world, and how can I give? And so my first order was raising my own children in the way they can give. Yes. So I made sure that they are growing up with this universal mindset that humanity is one. Everybody is like a cell in that body.
I love that
any one cell goes, against the rest, the body will die. So that was a principle to me. And so my children, my youngest was about 5. I decided, okay, this is time for me to change to another field, because all the time I loved my mystical background. I just loved my Persian Baha'i mystical background, but it was no match for the science. So I wanted to learn how to match and integrate it with the science of psychology. So that changed my journey a little bit, and then I became a psychotherapist.
That's awesome. You have just said it all in a nutshell.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, absolutely. You said it
like a big pomegranate.
No, but it's good. What you said was so insightful. I could just ask you one last question. One sentence. What is your message to Americans, like natural-born Americans and immigrants, in a nutshell? One word.
As a psychotherapist, welcome this. It's just like, in medicine, you get blood transfusion, you get, organ transplants. Yes. That is to make the life better. So this is no difference. Yes. This is to bring in other mindsets, other cultures, other richnesses, and have a transplant of humanity into this beautiful garden, which is the garden of U.S. and the world. So I say, this adds to our strength and beauty, so unity in diversity.
You know what? We needed that wisdom.
Well, how about if I say these are the different flowers in the garden, and diversity of flowers makes the garden more beautiful?
Absolutely. Keep going, girl. Well, thank you so much for sharing that wisdom with us.
It is a pleasure. Thank you,
and you're going to have to come back, because we could use a lot of this wisdom that you acquired over a lifetime. Yeah. So you are listening to Impact with Pamela Anchang on Pacifica Radio. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching today's video. For more TIMTV videos about immigrant lifestyles, click on the subscribe button here below and ring the notification bell so you will be notified when we upload new content. We upload new content every single week. See you next time on TIMTV.